Yes, I would like to meet the London patient very much. I would say take your time in if you want to become public, do it. It's been very useful for science and for giving hope to HIV positive people, to people living with HIV, so I would encourage you to become public someday, but take your time and do what's good for you. And I'm so glad to have a family member added to my family. Thank you very much.
Names on it, it's not confidential. Somebody came to film, we had someone, the BBC did a programme on the truth about HIV and interviews.
You don't be young, presumably.
It's supposed to be full young, isn't it?
There's no TCR at all.
So these are CD4 positive?
Yes, so these are CD3, CD4. And then once we get that population of double positive, so you kind of delete out all the dead cells, you just keep the live cells. And
Do you remember being a before? During the dead child, which are expressing CCR5, is that right?
yeah.
We waited 16 months before stopping in the post-transplant period just to make sure that the cancer was in remission, the patient was well, and that the measures we had of the HIV reservoir in the body showed that there was very, very little virus there, if any at all. And at that point, we stopped the treatment. And so we're now 18 months in, and we're confident that this will be a long-term remission, but it's too early to say as to whether this is a cure or not.
I'll tell you when the sidewalk ends. It's quite a way, so it's fine.
That's absolutely correct. It carries significant risk. It's unpleasant, and of course you're hospitalized for a number of weeks. HIV needs certain proteins to get into cells. It has to engage or interact with certain molecules on the surface of a cell, and we carry those as humans on specifically our T cells, or a type of white blood cell. There are individuals in the Caucasian population mainly who completely lack functional CCR5, which is one of these proteins that HIV needs. And therefore, a certain proportion of individuals are immune, as it were, to HIV infection. And therefore, if you transplant those cells into somebody who already has HIV, you may protect those new cells from infection. Finding a donor who is not only tissue matched to the individual needing the transplant, but also having 2 deleted or mutated copies of the CCR5 gene is an improbable event, and that's why this has not been observed more frequently.
The idea of getting rid of a virus like HIV that
embeds itself into our own genetic material is extremely difficult, and it's very rare that we see this. So in itself, it's one patient, and it's a very interesting scientific finding, and it's important to share that information. That in itself is not a treatment that one would want to give to somebody who is living with HIV on current medicines and is very healthy. Our patients have a near normal life expectancy, and we would never want to give somebody treatment that could potentially threaten that. And then having a bone marrow transplantation is a very complicated process. It requires an entire new set of cells to be taken into the person who's having the treatment. And that again is a process where, whilst those cells are embedding, you're very at risk of getting infections and potentially dying.